Hi, it's Sharon from Grace's neighbor Sharon. I hope you enjoy the video. Project number 1. Stencil and paint on display. So these are some of the, oops, hang on, need the light. There we go. So I'm using a bunch of different paints, some chalk paint in coral and green, and then some Magic Fly acrylic paint. And the point is to get some watermelon-y colors, and I actually have a picture of a watermelon in front of me to try and keep me on track. So these are essential stencils, and that's what the word display, image display thing is going to be for this project. This whole video is about having different ways to create your images and your words. So this one is through paint stencils. So the wood I got at Amazon, a random bag of different shape and sizes of wood, and then the stencil came from Essential Stencils. And I believe it was Leanie, another creator that talked about Essential Stencils, and I will put her channel link in my description box below. So I'm taking care to get this stencil down. It's a nice size. It's going to work perfectly for what I want. And I like to over tape my stencils because I don't trust myself to just hold it down. I'm still going to hold it down even when it's taped down. So starting with the dark green, and I can do this fast enough that I'll get all the colors on there and still remove the stencil when it's wet, which in my opinion is the best way to do it. That's just through my experience. But you do you, right? If you find something that works for you, then stay with it. You know, don't let me change your mind if it works. But for inspiration and for tips and tricks, this is what I tell you about what I'm doing. So I'm getting all the colors on there. I remembered I wanted some red in the top. So I dabbed some on top of the coral. Even though there's coral underneath, it'll be the red that you see, which is what I want. My favorite thing about stencils, of course, is the reveal. Ta-da! It looks fantastic. The melon part has the nice texture from the chalk paint, but the top is a little flat for my liking, but that's because that was mostly acrylic paint. But it came out nice and crisp up there, so I'm just going to leave it. However, it's bothering me that there's so much white in it. It makes the word melon a little difficult to see. So actually go back twice and paint in a bit more of the white. And this time I just held onto the stencil because I was pretty confident I had it in the right place. And I actually brought in a new color just to make it interesting. Oh, and I'm using my my glass palette. When I was first learning to paint for crafting, the online class that I took, she used a piece of glass for a palette, like a 5x7 or an 8x10 piece of glass. And I do prefer it. A lot of times I'm using a little cup for video purposes, but I do prefer using the glass. It's just so much easier to get colors mixed up and stuff. So I did a little sand there, which was perfect because it was black underneath, and so I didn't have to try hard to get a little bit of distress. And this bow was made for a previous project that I didn't use. It was made using the awareness shape scrunched together, tied with twine, and then I glued a faux rose in the middle for a little bit more embellishment. I figured this will do well through spring and summer, and maybe change it for fall. better look at the final reveal.
Project number 2.
Love cutout with wreath. So some people love their Cricut and some people not so much. That's what this project is about. I prepared the wood circle with some matte spray paint, and then I grabbed all the roses out of my floral stash, as well as some fillers and some greenery. So to prepare the wood circle, I'm drilling a few holes, and I will use those to attach it to the wreath. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it, no measuring here, just trying to get it at the top. I don't want to have to do it in 4 spots, so I just am trying to figure out how best to hang it. And of course, last year my favorite color was this moss green, and I still love it. And I thought it would be perfect for this project because I don't have any green vinyl left, so I'm going to use some white vinyl for my words, and I think it's going to look fantastic on this green. Now I got this garland at Target, and I was a little annoyed because it was mixed up with sales stuff, and I didn't think it was that much, but it was $5, and I almost went back, and then I'm like, you know, it's kind of cool, I'll just go ahead and keep it. But before I started, I wanted to wrap the wreath form with burlap. And this is a roll of white burlap that I purchased at Walmart a few months back, and I cut it in half lengthwise and wrapped it around the wreath form. And I'll have the size of the ribbon and the wreath form in my description box below. For now, I'm just going to spread out the garland and either use its own wire or use my floral wire. I used its own wire to get started, and I'm using the floral wire to help keep it down. I could have just left it like rolled up and just kind of like attached it to the insides. I wasn't really overthinking this. I did this in Design Space using 2 images that came up in a search in Cricut Access, or Cricut Design Space, I guess you call it. I like showing some of the vinyl work here. So I pulled away the vinyl we didn't need, attached it to the transfer sheet or transfer tape, and very, very slowly pulled off the backing. The middle word was giving me quite a hard time, and a few of the letters I actually just had to place on there like a sticker because they were just not working with the transfer tape. I don't do this very often, but I did add some Mod Podge because this is going to be outside. So I'm going to get those letters covered, and then I'll spray them again with the matte clear spray paint. So for now, it's just all about finding some order in the roses. I'm trying to do one on one side, one on the other side kind of thing, and leave a few extra in case I have to fill in some holes afterwards. I also trimmed some of the greenery and then placed it elsewhere on the wreath with some hot glue. And I used a combination of floral wire, zip ties, and hot glue. I'll probably hang it on the front door and add a couple more flowers like I usually do. So better look at the final reveal.
Project number 3.
Spring Chalk Couture birds. So there's a little stand that I got from Dollar Tree as a frame. We have the Chalk Couture single packets, Chalk Couture squeegee, Chalk Couture Scandy birds that I got on sale. think Scandi or Scandinavian. And then of course these wood shapes that I got from Amazon. And I'm showing you the size of the one that I'll be using for this project. I put a base coat of clear spray paint, and now I'm going to figure out which birds are going to look best in the space provided. I was needing the teal color there because I definitely want to use that color. Teal is my favorite color in clothing and wall colors and things like that, so only natural that I would go ahead and get it from xoxo. So this is the first time it's being used, so I trimmed it off the main page and fuzzed it on a microfiber cloth that I have. The teal chalk paste was nice and slippery and went on no problem. I didn't have to add water or anything like that. So I just spent a little time getting some even coverage. And I definitely need some more squeegees because I had to take a break in between and get the squeegee cleaned off. But there's our first reveal, and I love it. Absolutely love it. The color, the bird, the direction it's facing, everything. This I think is copper, like a copper shimmer that I got from one of the house transfer sheets. And so if you haven't guessed it already, the stencil, xoxo stencil, or I guess we could call it the silkscreen stencil, silkscreen transfer, is what this project is all about. So we went from a paint stencil to the Cricut cutout, and now we're chalking. So again, it came out wonderful. I love it. I love the two colors together. It's lovely. So now I just had to figure out how to finish it off. And bows are usually a good choice for embellishment, so I decided to go with that. But this ribbon was pretty wide. I want to say maybe 1.5 inches, maybe 2. But I did go ahead and use it to make a awareness shape bow, like I usually do. Make the shape, scrunch it together with the twine, and just tie it nice and tight in the back, and then embellish the middle sometimes, but glue it on, putting glue in the back. So I do have the bow ready, but I want to get it on the stand first here. So this was just a Dollar Tree frame from the frame section, and I saw other creators using it as a stand, and I'm always thinking about how to stand things up, so I thought this was perfect. Now I definitely mess around with this bow. I am not happy with it after I get it up there, but I do mess around with it until I get happy with it. For right now, I thought it was done, and then oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My cats were fighting. One is in timeout right now. So yes, I thought I was finished with this project, and then when I looked at it, I thought it just needs something else, more of an embellishment. And I decided on a necklace for it. So I pulled out some different sized beads and watered down some paint in colors similar to what the chalk was on the image on the birds. So this is just like, oh, look at that. I just totally lost that bead. I had to get up, go all the way around my desk, find the bead. Oh, there we go. Get some more color on it. So yeah, the blue I thought was a nice springy color, and it was a close match to the teal that's already on there. So now, similar to what you would call a dry fit when you're figuring stuff out, I was figuring out how to do the beads here. And what I did was cut off a piece of floral wire and use it like you would use a needle. So I just cut off the piece of floral wire, fold it in half, and then put the twine in the looped part of it, and then just threaded my beads on in the chosen pattern. Now, it would be nice to have my hot glue gun working right about now, but that glue gun always conks out. It's a great gun, but it always conks out. So I decided to prop the knot on the string off on the top there and then just glue it down. And now our birds have a necklace and they are prettier. Final reveal coming up.
Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.